Episode 116, Wayne in with Travis Hartman. I am B Money, the producer. That over there is the talent. Weekend Trav. Technical difficulties aside, big news drop today, being Tuesday. That's Naoya Inoue taking on Stephen Fulton for the unified 122 titles. May 7th is now officially postponed. Injury to Naoya's hand. What do you have to say about that one?
Yeah, that's a bummer because that fight was going to be good May 7th in Japan. That was going to be an undisputed, two undisputed guys. That Fulton is supposed to be really, really like take over that division. Inoue is moving up, I believe, to make this
Yep.
fight even. It's a great fight, but the good thing is I believe they are going to reschedule it. So that's awesome. It looks like possibly a summer date you were saying, I think earlier.
Yep.
But it's an awesome fight. Inoue always fights the best. And it makes sense because what I was saying earlier on our first take, this is our third take. I was saying about the hand injury. It does take a while to heal. And if we think about it, March is pretty much over and May
Yep.
is around the corner. So it
Yep.
makes sense. Whatever injury it is, it makes sense to let it heal and get better before you go into a massive fight against Steve Fulton. So I think Inoue Camp's doing the right thing. We don't know personally exactly the details, and we might not ever know because that's all the way over in Japan, and I'm pretty sure they shut the media down if they want to over there. So
Yeah.
we're not hearing exactly what happened. But I know that I think he's going to be okay, obviously, because they're looking at a rescheduled date.
Yeah, sometime in the summertime looks like, and that was confirmed with Stephen Fulton's social media accounts as well. So obviously the injury is probably not too bad. I know there's a kind of you alluded to that also in our first take that Amanda Serrano, it seemed that there was some sort of a similar issue. She was supposed to also have a May fight date. They were with Katie Taylor, but off because of a hand injury, supposedly. So details, it's hard to get the details when that actually happened, but ultimately it looks like in a way, it's probably a minor injury. He should be back good to go 100%. That's what we want. We want these two guys 100% to go for these unified belts here at the 122 weight classes. Inoue has stepped up and dropped his titles. So that should be a blockbuster. We were looking forward to that. So that is
Yeah,
disappointing. We can travel.
very.
Let's move on to another bit of disappointing news. And that's from the fight that never happened. The fight that never was, I should say. And that was over this past weekend. Maybe you can address the fans about this one.
Well, I think that I'm in every right to make this call out because I made 46 professional boxing matches and I never once missed weight. I made contracted weight every single time. Amateurs as well. And I had 170 amateur fights. So when guys miss weight in the pros, it is very disrespectful to the fans, it's disrespectful to the sport, it's disrespectful to the promoters and the other fighters. And not only did King, or not King, not only did Gabe Rosado's opponent, Zerto Ramirez, miss weight, B Money, he came in originally at 187 pounds. The contracted weight was for 175. He did try to lose some more weight and got down to 183, but still not even close. You're still 8 pounds over. So it really does tick me off because if you're a couple pounds over, fine. We get it. That does happen. It really does. And it's more human than people think, but 2 pounds or something around that range, it does happen and it can happen. But this many pounds over, it reeks of just irresponsible, immature actions when you come to a professional career. And he's had 45 pro fights. I had 46. He had 45. So he knows better. I don't
For the
get it, B Money.
for those listening at home that have never been in the circumstance of trying to cut weight, give them kind of talk a little bit more about that. Let's say you said the contractor weight is 175. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he was there day before weigh-ins and he was sitting at like 5 over. What's the game plan in your mind if you're 5 over for a 175-pound fight, but you have 24 hours before you got to weigh?
You're dehydrating yourself. You're definitely starving yourself at that point because you just have to make weight once. So the night before, you're for sure starving, not eating, and you're also more than likely you're bagging up or getting a sauna suit and going for a run or sitting in the sauna. But what you're
Yep.
trying to do, those last 5 pounds, you're trying to get rid of the water weight because we do have a lot of water weight. However, it's not good to deplete yourself like that because most of your body's major organs work on water, which is your brain, your heart, all of those major ones. They
Right.
need water. So a lot of guys will dehydrate themselves because they know they just have to make that weight one time. So as soon as they make it, dehydrate yourself all the way up to that point, make the weight, then you rehydrate immediately and you have 24 hours before the fight happens.
So
So
crazy thing. If his first weigh-in was off by 12, so he
it
came in
was
at
187.
187. So even the day before that, when they first got into town, how
You
much
know,
over could he have possibly been? 15,
exactly.
16?
Exactly. And that's my problem is when you showed up to the fight, even B Money, the week of the fight, if you're still 15 pounds over or anywhere near that, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You got to be cutting it good. You need to be closer to 5, 6, 7 pounds the week of. And then I always like to be, I'm within a couple of pounds before the night before the weigh in. And then what I do is I'll try to go for a light jog, a nice little easy workout, drench myself with sweat, and get a good shake out anyway. And then I end up draining that couple pounds worth of water weight, which is not bad. A couple pounds is not bad. Guys will do 5 even sometimes.
Yeah.
But the point is, he knew. And that's my problem. He even tried to sweat off another 4 pounds. He went from weight 87, and then they gave him time to sweat some weight off, and he got down to 183. So he got 4 pounds off. But I'm like, where was this leading up? Well,
Yeah.
Zerto, I get it. The guy has had 45 pro fights, never missed a weight. But this is just unacceptable. I'll read off his apology letter again, that he put out. And I do like it because he's taking ownership. He is. But my point is, it's after the fact, after you've cost Gabe Rosado a payday, after you've cost him a fight, after you've cost the promoters who they were the main event for DAZN, and Mercado Gesto and Jojo Diaz ended up being the main event, which ended up being kind of a controversial fight. Jojo Diaz lost.
Not only that, but Ramirez, after we made a nice thumbnail for episode 115 last week with both of those guys on there for our video. Come on, Zerto. Come on.
Zerto.
Go ahead and read off his apology, though it is still a disrespectful situation, but go ahead and read off that apology there.
Well, weighing with Travis Harmon episode 115, he messed our thumbnail up, like you said, though. Thanks a lot, Zerto. I don't see an apology for that.
Yeah, where's that at?
Where's that at, bro? So this is Zerto Ramirez directly off his Instagram. And mind you, he cut off all comments. Nobody's allowed to comment because he didn't want to hear it. So it was just, you know what? If you're going to apologize, you might as well take the flack and listen to it.
Yep.
So this is what he says. This is word for word off of his Instagram account. He posted this like that same day. No excuses. I've never missed weight in my 45 pro fights. This is the first and last time. I've always prided myself on being a professional, but today was not my finest moment. On that note, I'd like to apologize to all my fans and supporters, Golden Boy Promotions, and DAZN for this unfortunate event. I never gave up trying to make weight, cutting until the final moment, but just couldn't lose enough to make the contracted weight. I am embarrassed and upset by my actions and promise this will never happen again. I will make the right adjustments and we'll be back soon. Do you know what I didn't hear in that apology, though? I didn't hear him apologizing to Gabe Rosado. That's the man that he affected the most.
Yeah.
Gabe trained his butt off to have this fight, to have this moment. And not once in this apology letter did he apologize to his opponent. That, honest to God, should have been his first. And that's something new that I just realized. I was like, man, why wouldn't you apologize to your opponent? You cost your opponent an entire training camp, everything. I mean, it's just disrespectful, man. Like I said, I've had 46 pro fights, never missed weight. He's had 45 pro fights. He knows better. Be responsible. Don't be immature. If you're going to be overweight, let them know days in advance, because he knew.
And before moving on, last comment I'll have on this. Where was his camp the whole time? Like, they don't know for the week, maybe 2 weeks leading up. We got to start. We got to kind of start a little bit here.
Yep.
Where are they at? I mean,
right.
from the health and nutrition standpoint, especially this getting a little bit more notoriety on this fight, where are you guys at? And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to boxing. It's embarrassing to everybody involved, and shame on them. So let's switch gears here for Weekend Drive, and hopefully this fight doesn't have the same sort of circumstances, and I don't think it will. Big pay-per-view bout this weekend. Caleb Plant taking on David Benavidez. Whew. We mentioned it last week in episode 115. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and look at in our catalog for that episode. This is going to be a big time fight. We're looking for fireworks on this one.
Big time, man. This is Saturday on Showtime pay-per-view. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. David Benavidez is undefeated. Caleb Plant only has 1 loss, and that was to Canelo Alvarez. So listen, man, B-Money, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about people for sure think David Benavidez is going to win. And I'm not sure yet still. I'm so unsure of this that I don't even know if I'm going to make a pick yet. I think that what I'm going to do is I would like to talk about how I think each guy could win. Okay,
let's do that, because what I'm going to say before I throw that back to you is, man, Caleb Plant, he's a dog, man. He's a dog. I mean, that guy... You
100%.
You want somebody that walks and talks it? This guy. this
Yep.
guy. Okay. So let
He's
me,
an OG.
yeah. So let me throw it to you. Give me, how does David Benavidez win this fight?
David Benavidez is a volume fighter. He's looks like he's bigger, taller, longer, is a lot busier in his punches. So David Benavidez is going to have to make this a rough, tough fight. Throw punches in bunches, constantly pressure, constantly put Caleb Plant on his back foot and making him have to stand his ground against the barrage of punches that David Benavidez is going to let go, because this guy punches in bunches. He's got combination power, B-Money. So he's knocked out quite a bit of people. And if you watch him, he knocks them out with flurries of punches. So with that being said, a guy like Caleb Plant is a very slick boxer. So if a guy's constantly coming forward and pressing you, it kind of does play right into your hands. However, a guy like David Benavidez, though, can keep that up for 12 rounds. So if he can keep that up for 12 rounds, then Caleb Plant's going to have problems unless Caleb Plant comes in some kind of Superman unrealistic shape. I don't know that he can withstand that barrage that David Benavidez is going to bring. And to be fair, too, Caleb Plant, his confidence has still got to be a little bit shaken. I mean, he went into that Canelo Alvarez fight fully believing he could win. And not only did he not win, he got stopped for the first time in his career after being undefeated since his pro debut. He was undefeated. So you got to think, and I think right now, just me talking like I'm talking, I feel like I am leaning more towards Benavidez.
Interesting.
I am.
Interesting.
But I do think Caleb Plant can win because he's a slick, smart boxer. But he's going to have to just be on the money, punching, grabbing, holding, moving, constantly circling, keeping that fight in the middle of the ring.
Well, think about it. Think about the activity and barrage that he put on Anthony Durrell last fight, which ended up being, one of our knockouts of the year on that one.
Yeah. He got his confidence came back with that one for sure.
Yeah, that's going back to October. I mean, that was nasty. And so I think that it's one thing to lose to Canelo. I think almost in general, I think it's like, okay, we don't want to lose to Canelo, but it's kind of understandable at a certain point.
Yeah. You don't really count that against them.
I don't know. I think he has his swagger back. I don't know if we're making predictions or not. It's going to be hard for me to gamble against Caleb Plant in this one.
And that's where I'm at. And that's why I know that I'm leaning towards Benavidez. However, I remember back when Caleb Plant fought this guy, Ukanatsi something, who knocked out Andre Durrell, which is the brother of Anthony Durrell. And then Caleb Plant fought him. And I was like, dude, no way Caleb Plant can beat this guy. This is way back, like, I don't know, it was years ago before Caleb Plant became world champion. So I watched that fight and I was like, I'm never betting against this guy again. I'm not, except when he fought Canelo. I was like, Canelo's going to beat him. But other than that, I was just like, I can't bet against Caleb Plant. He's slick, sharp, and guess what? He punches hard. He knocked Anthony Durrell out like nobody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like he knocked him out cold with a money shot of the week for weighing in with Travis Hartman. Money shot. He did. So I don't know, man. I think he's biting off a lot more than he can chew with a guy like Benavidez, because Benavidez, they have boxing in their bloodline. Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I don't know.
There's a reason why this is pay-per-view weekend, Trav, and I think the fans are looking forward to it. It's for the WBC interim super middleweight title. It's coming to you from the MGM Grand there in Las Vegas this weekend on Saturday. Pay-per-view. I can't remember what the broadcast is. Do you have that?
Yeah, it's Showtime pay-per-view.
Showtime pay-per-view. So, folks, if you want to spend some money on some boxing, that's going to be the one this weekend to pay attention to. That's going to be a big-time fight. However, I say 100%. That, but listen, they both can speak in volumes. This thing could go the distance, to be honest with you. I mean, if I look back, I'm looking back in BoxRec right now, Caleb Plant's records. I mean, he has plenty of fights that went the full distance and got unanimous decisions all the way through. So
so he's built to go the distance. He is. And that's why I'm saying he could keep this fight in the middle of the ring, circle, punch, circle, move. Don't let the guy tie him up. Don't land a barrage of punches. He 100% is built for this. Yeah. Caleb Plant does, like you said at the beginning, he does have that dog in him. But so does Benavidez. I mean, Benavidez has got that. He's big, he's tall, he's long, and he throws an ungodly amount of punches. I want to see that stat. There's a CompuBox stat somewhere where how many punches Benavidez throws, and it's literally a million a fight.
Yeah. So we will see. Big time fight weekend, Trav. I don't know if maybe later this week you're actually gonna give me a prediction or not. I think maybe that should be the call. Maybe we should do a little short clip. We'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Here's a prediction from Weekend Trav, who he thinks going to win. It also might also give me a little bit more chance to do some study, but it's going to be hard to get me off the Caleb Plant train right now, as his knockout victory over Anthony Durrell at the end of last year was pretty darn exciting, making the top money shots of the year for us there on the knockout side of things. So big time fight weekend, Trav. Let's go ahead and move on. April 1st, we're going to touch a little bit before we talk about it a little more in depth next week, but April 1st, Caribe Royale, Night of Redemption there, with the Box Lab guys. Also, it's Orlando Boxing is also
Orlando Boxing Club.
Yep, Orlando Boxing Club. So should be a nice local show here, April 1st at the Caribe Royale. Night of Redemption, got a couple of guys on that card that we know very well, and Adrian Pinheiro will be main event on that one. And then who else is
Giovanni Estella is the co-main event as well. And then I know there's a host of other local fighters fighting too, because Orlando Box Club's putting it on. So I did see they just added, I believe, we got a women's fight.
Yeah,
we have a women's fight.
Yeah, Shamara Woods, who was also, she used to train, she used to be a trainer there at the UFC gym in Winter Springs, where we both met. So she has a little bit of ties to some of us there as well. So I think she's on the card. I think I was.
It's going to be the first women's fight we've seen at a Box Lab promoted.
We've been calling for it. I think that's
pretty excited.
Yep, you heard it here first. Or at least you heard the call for it here first. So we can travel. We'll talk more about Night of Redemption, April 1st, Caribe Royale coming to us April 1st here in Orlando. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in next week's episode, which is episode 117. But this is finishing up episode 116. Final thoughts, over to you.
I don't really have final thoughts, B-Money. I was thinking that I should have something very inspirational planned, and I got busy today. And I didn't plan anything inspirational.
Weekend Trav, you should, because people tune in. You want to know why? They tune into this because it's the #1 beards, bourbon, and boxing cast. It's late.
At least you were recording.
I am recording this time. The #1 beards, bourbon, and boxing podcast, shot in Orlando, Florida, specifically Laureate Park, specifically in a boxing gym on the second floor of said boxing gym in the TH Boxing Studio podcast room, however many words I could put to that. Shot on a Sunday or Monday. Today is actually Tuesday, dropping on
Wednesday morning at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time
in the world. So people tune in. They want to hear your final thoughts.
I mean, sometimes B-Money's got some really good. You know what, B-Money? Since we're in a financial nightmare right now,
we're not bringing this stuff up.
Do you have any kind of financial advice for people? Don't make them comfortable, B-Money. Where's your Monday morning? Where's your Monday morning quarterback? I know you do a Gulfstream Financial Monday morning thing. Can we direct people to watch that for your final thought?
Yeah. Well, what I'll say is this: as with a lot of situations like we sometimes see, especially when headlines go kind of crazy for a little while, don't panic. If you're taking care of stuff on your own, think thoughtfully. If you're working with a professional, have a conversation with them. But these aren't the times to panic. That's all I'm going to say at this point. There's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes, but we're not going to get into that today. This is not the segment for that, but feel free to reach out to us if you'd like a little more information on that on a weekly basis.
Monday.
We can Trav. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? That. Thank you to our media partners, TH Boxing, Gulfstream Financial, and IF Enterprises, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We haven't said it in weeks.
You're right. We haven't. We've been not talking about our beautiful, beautiful media partners.
Yeah.
We need to talk about them more, probably.
Yeah. And special thanks out there to the BioSteel. Appreciate it. This is some good stuff here. This black cherry flavor. I do dig it.
I have also, for Dale's sake, I've been drinking Old WM Tarr today. Kentucky Straight Whiskey. Who was brought to us by, I forgot the guy's name, but it was one of the coaches of the Kentucky basketball team, but our football team. But regardless, it's pretty solid stuff.
There we go. Well, I think that wraps up episode 116, correct?
Yes, sir.
I am recording, correct?
God bless, hallelujah.
Okay, that there is Weekend Trav.
Take 3.
No, it's recording right now. That over there, I think, is Weekend Trav.
That there is B Money, aka producer, aka we need a new cameraman.
We're out. God bless.